This is the Chassidic Story Project with Barak Hullman, podcasting from Jerusalem, Israel. This podcast is sponsored by listeners just like you. To become a supporter of this podcast, please go to HasidicStory.com, HASIDIC story.com. You'll never know, you'll never know, you'll never know, you'll never know. There was a simple Jewish innkeeper. They had a little tavern and an inn somewhere deep in Russia. He seemed like a very simple Jew, dressed like a peasant. He spoke like a peasant. But this simple, down-to-earth innkeeper was admired and respected by everyone who knew him. He was known as a miracle worker. Anyone that he gave a blessing to, that blessing would come true. And so people flocked to his inn. They came to him for a blessing for healing, or for parnasa, or for a shidduch, or for whatever anyone needed. And when they would come, they would say a little l'chaim, buy a drink. Some people would spend the night in the inn, and then go on their way. Over the years, the reputation of the innkeeper, who could perform miracles, started to spread, until one day it reached the ears of the Rebbe, who at the time was living in Mezhibuz. The Rebbe wanted to find out what was the secret of the simple innkeeper who could do these miracles by giving blessings to people. Where was this power coming from? So the Rebbe harnessed his horses and went all the way to Russia to find the simple Jewish innkeeper. When he arrived to the inn, he looked at the innkeeper, looked him up and down, but he couldn't see any greatness or holiness about him at all. He was just a simple Jew. He paid deeper attention to his movements, but there was nothing special about this innkeeper at all. So at some point the Rebbe had to say to the innkeeper, "Please tell me, where does your power to bless come from? Why does Hashem answer all your blessings?" And the innkeeper smiled, and he said, "My ability to bless people and create miracles comes from my complete faith in Hashem, in the Kadosh Baruch Hu." Well, the Rebbe was thinking about this. He thought he also has complete faith in Hashem, and he knows many other people that have complete faith in Hashem. So what's going on here? There must be something deeper. In the meantime, the innkeeper continued speaking. He said, "Since I was a young boy, I always had complete faith in Hashem, no matter what happened to me. And I always knew that whatever happened, it was for the best because I knew that it came from Hashem. I never despaired, and I never lost hope. And I always gave tzedakah, especially in the times when I didn't have much money to give at all. You can look around this inn here. You can see that I've always had an open house. And I give the greatest respect to all of the guests and treat everyone as if they were royalty. One night many years ago, this whole inn was filled with poor Jews who had nothing to eat. And as I'm beginning to feed everyone, there's a knock at the door. And it's a messenger from the Poritz, the landowner who owns this tavern and this inn. And the messenger said that I had to appear before the Poritz immediately, or the Poritz would throw me into prison. So now I had a problem. I'm looking around the tavern. There's all these hungry Jews. I just spent hours cooking food for them. If I left immediately, everyone here would probably have gone to sleep hungry. So I stayed and took care of the guests. I put my trust in Hashem, and I knew whatever would happen, but at least I was going to serve my guests their food." A few hours later, after all of the guests were comfortably in their beds, I went to meet the landlord. And when I arrived, he was in such a good mood. I guess whatever he was upset about, it didn't seem to bother him anymore. Not only did he not throw me into prison, he greeted me like an old friend, gave me a big hug and patted me on the back, sent me back home. I know that I never have anything to worry about because I have such great faith in Hashem. 2 years ago, I lost everything. I had no money. I had a great deal of expenses. Some goyim came in. They drank a lot of the vodka and didn't pay for it. Before I knew it, I had used up all the vodka, and I didn't have money to buy more. I had no problem, but my family, they didn't have my level of faith. My wife and kids begged me to go out and find a business partner, an investor, who would give me some money and get me started in business again. And so for them, I decided to go and try to find an investor. It wasn't what I wanted to do. I said to myself, I've always trusted in Hashem, and Hashem never let me down. And now I'm going to find an investor, a person of flesh and blood that's going to save me from my problems when Hashem always saved me. And so I was walking through the countryside, through the fields, and I saw Hashem's shefa, Hashem's bounty in the world. There was an orchard of red apples, and they were shining in the sun. I went over and saw the owner, and I said to him, would it be okay if I take an apple? And he said, of course. And I took a bite out of the apple after saying a bracha. And it was so delicious. And then I noticed on the other side of the field were some cows. And they're eating grass. And I stopped and I said, Hashem, look at all the abundance you've created in the world. There's so much. I love you, Hashem. I don't want a partner of flesh and blood. You, Hashem, who created all of this and sustains everything, can't you just help me and my little family? Hashem, I'll make you a deal. You allow me to give people brachas, and then they'll come to my inn and drink some vodka and spend the night. And I promise you we'll be partners. 50-50. Your half of the money I'll give to the poor, and my half of the money I'll use for supporting my family. I felt all of a sudden that something had changed, and I reached into my pocket, and there was a silver coin. For sure it wasn't there before, so I took this as a sign that Hashem had accepted the deal, and now we were partners. So with this coin, I went and I bought some more vodka, and when people started coming in, of course, they shared their problems with me, and I would give them a bracha, and sure enough, every time I gave them a blessing, my words were answered by Hashem. And so the innkeeper showed the Apter Rav, that tzedakah box that he keeps at the inn. And he said, you see, this is Hashem's prophets. And then he raised up some money from the till. And he said, and these are mine. And I keep my deal. And the rest I use to support my family. And that's the story. So the Apter Rav, who had come all the way from Mezhibuz in Ukraine to hear the story of the miraculous innkeeper, thanked the innkeeper. He asked him for a bracha. The innkeeper blessed him with wisdom and health and wealth, and lots of Chassidim and Chassidic nachas from his whole family, and them from him. And when the Apter Rav returned home, he gathered all the Chassidim in the shul in Mezhibuz, and he told them the story of the simple innkeeper whose blessings all came true. And he said, when a person sincerely enters into a partnership with a Kadosh Baruch Hu and is completely honest in their business dealings, then Hashem enables that person to perform miracles, just like our friend in Russia, the simple innkeeper.